Good evening, everybody. I said I would try to come back on and do a tasting of at least one or both of those whiskeys that I picked up earlier from Blackwell's. Blackwell's Wine and Spirits. They're based in California. I'm hoping to get a local supplier one of these days soon. Now that the various restrictions in Ohio have been lifted, I'd like to find a couple local stores here that carry a good variety of things, so I don't have to go online for everything. But for now, this was one of the options I had, so I ordered, as you may remember earlier, I ordered a bottle of Michter's and a bottle of Lagavulin, which is specifically this one right here. And that is the Offerman edition, which is endorsed by Nick Offerman. He's from Parks and Recreation, if anybody knows that show. He also plays the voice of the pirate in the Lego movies. He's Metalbeard, the pirate. So, back for the 100th episode of This Uncanny Earth, we had a bottle of Lagavulin Offerman edition, which we enjoyed. I don't remember a whole lot about it because it's been quite a long time. It's been about a year almost. It's been about a year at least since that episode. And this version is different. This is a new version of the Offerman edition, where it's been aged for a different time period. It's been aged 11 years. I don't remember what the first one was aged in, but it was finished for the last few years of its life in Guinness, former Guinness casks. So if anybody knows the Guinness beer, ex-Guinness casks were used to hold Lagavulin. So I'm looking forward to how this is going to taste, honestly. I'd like to get some Guinness separately to kind of serve as a chaser at some point and see how it affects that as well. Take a little bit of this and then drink a Guinness and see if I get any new flavor profiles or anything like that, because I think that would be a pretty worthwhile and interesting experiment. Now that I've unsealed the bottle here, I'm going to go ahead and pop this cork for you. Nice, good pop there. Smells good. Smells real good. Has a definite oak kind of scent to it. Lagavulin is known for a little bit of peat as well, so I definitely get some peat. And it could be just psychosomatic. I could be just imagining it because I know that it was aged in the Guinness casks, but I almost feel like I can smell a hint of Guinness beer somewhere in there. It might be my imagination. I might be just kind of projecting because I know that it was finished in the casks, but let's pour a little bit of this out. Let's see if you can see the color in there. A nice, mild color. Nice, mild whiskey color. Kind of a golden apple kind of color. Cork this back up so I don't spill it. I'll put the glass right over here. Put the ponies on it. Okay. And it does smell good. And I think I am getting a little bit of that. I feel like I do smell the influence of the Guinness cask on there. It's hard to tell. I don't have one of those super sniffers that some whiskey drinkers have where they can smell ripe plums in a field of daisies or something, and then they come up with these weird descriptions, and I don't know. I think maybe sometimes they're faking it. Maybe. I don't know. But I'm going to drop a couple drops of water in here. 1, 2, 3. As you guys know, 3 drops of water is my perfect ratio to kind of open up the flavors a little bit, get that chemical reaction going. It definitely smells good. It has some peat smell into it, but it does have that almost dark chocolate whiskey or dark chocolate kind of stout smell to it that you get with the Guinness. So here we go. Let's have a taste. Ooh. It's very sharp. It's very sharp. And there's a lot going on in there. It has a burn that goes straight down into your chest at the same time. Even with those few drops of water that I added, it didn't take a huge amount of the edge off there. And you definitely get the smoky peat, but the peat doesn't really dominate. It's coming kind of filling in after the fact. As I'm sitting here, and it's sitting on the palate now, it's finishing with a peat taste. And a definite little, I do taste some Guinness, some kind of beer kind of flavoring in there that I probably picked up from the casks. It's very complex. It's there's a lot of subtleties going on in this Lagavulin right here. And I'm starting to kind of remember when we had the first bottle of Lagavulin Offerman Edition that was not in Guinness casks, that there was a lot going on into it. It was very complex. There were a lot of different flavors, but they all kind of meshed together really well. And this is a lot sharper than that. There's a definite sharpness to this. It doesn't have the smoothness that an Irish whiskey would have. It doesn't have the smoothness that a bourbon might have, followed by the burn. It does have a really pretty obviously characteristic Scotch sharp taste to it. Some Scotches I get, they have a very clean, very light initial sharpness to it. While it's sharp, it's not like it doesn't really overwhelm things. It feels kind of light on the palate, and then the rest of kind of kicks in. But this really kind of cuts a little bit. I'm gonna have another taste and see what the follow-up is like, now that my mouth has kind of been slightly numbed with that first alcohol taste. The sharpness does kind of go away a little bit after the first taste. The first taste hits you pretty hard. That burn, though, that burn to the chest, it goes right on down and sits. It goes down the esophagus and just kind of sits right there in your chest, a little ball of burning warmth. And there are some notes, some definite stout, chocolatey, dark chocolatey notes in there that I'm tasting. And there's a lot of peat. I didn't think that there was going to be quite so much on the second taste. The first taste, it didn't seem like there was a lot, and then it kind of started overwhelming the finish. But on the second one, you do taste a lot more of the peat. So this is definitely a really heavily peated, Scotch. I like it. I do like it. Another slow sipper. As you guys know, I'm really fond of slow sippers, where rather than just take a bunch of gulps and then you're done with a glass and then you move on to another, this is something that I can sit around over the course of an hour or two and really just enjoy the taste of it and the feel of it on the palate. But I like it. I do like it. I'm enjoying it. I'm not sure if my Spirits Club co-host would enjoy it so much, because he's not really a peaty guy. But I really like this a lot. I really enjoy it. Now this, it's not particularly cheap. The bottle I got from Blackwell's was the cheapest I was able to find it online, because I didn't really hold out much hope that I'd find it here locally, since it's so new. And Ohio seems to be kind of in that weird time warp of sometimes we get it, sometimes we don't. And But it was about $90, so not cheap again. But the retail price that I saw when it was first advertised, and at most other sites that I looked at, was about $130, and that's before any sort of shipping and tax or anything. So Blackwell's had it the cheapest, but Blackwell's shipping is relatively pricey. So that's why I got a second bottle. I got this and I got the Michter's, because if I'm going to buy something with a heavy shipping cost, I try to do multiple items so that shipping cost is a little bit spread out among the bunch of them, because the shipping for Blackwells doesn't really go up that much in relation to how many bottles you get. If you get a bunch of bottles, it usually stays consistent. So if you're looking to get yourself a bottle, I believe this is going to be a limited edition. I don't know how limited. I didn't really see any hard numbers on that, but if you're going to be looking at it, definitely make sure that you grab it sooner rather than later, because at the price point that it's at, it is very likely to go up. I compare that to the Glenmorangie. Glenmorangie has their A Tale of Cake, which is a specific limited edition that was made to resemble the taste of a cake. And it does kind of bear that. I've tasted that. I think I've had that. I don't know if I've done a tasting for you guys on it, but I might do it in the future. I have a fresh bottle that's unopened that I'm saving. It's a real special occasion kind of thing. One, because cake for special occasions, and another because this is the second bottle I've got, and the price difference between the two was already noticeable. It wasn't huge, but you can tell that because it's limited, because it's only like a one run kind of thing, it's not going to last forever, and the prices are going to go up, especially among collectors and people who like the people who get into the Blantons, and they'll get the Blanton's bourbons, and they'll just keep them on their shelves forever and never drink out of them. I excuse me. Getting the phlegm kind of flowing with this stuff here. But I feel that while I have a private stock that most of it is unopened, I do plan on opening all of it over time and having a taste here and a taste there. I like having a stock of relatively rare, hard-to-find things that I can dip into every once in a while, because there's a lot of memories tied to that kind of stuff. There's a lot of things tied into specific bottles and specific distillers and things to that nature, at least in my mind. And for the other, you don't buy whiskey just to look at it, you buy whiskey to drink it. And while some whiskey is better savored, eventually you're going to have to get through the whole bottle. So I'm not one of those type of collectors. But fair warning, like I said, fair warning, this will likely go up relatively quick after the first few months. So if you want a bottle, between 90 and 130 is the price range that I'm seeing right now. As far as online, I can't vouch for local stores because I don't know which local liquor stores might keep this. Ohio again is kind of in limbo with all that kind of stuff. But Blackwell's Wines and Spirits, you can check them out online. Just look them up. And the shipping is a little pricey. Again, they're shipping from California, but they do ship here to Ohio. If you're one of the people who is in Ohio and you have trouble getting liquor shipped here, they will ship here. And their pricing on the liquor itself generally is really good. The shipping, again, okay, it's not that great. But you buy a relatively good-sized bulk order, I'm not going to say it's going to pay for itself, but it's going to be a lot more reasonable to pay that shipping cost if you buy upwards of at least 3 bottles or more. Okay, so that's the Lagavulin 11-year-old single malt Scotch, Offerman edition, finished in Guinness casks. There's a lot of information all in this bottle, a lot of it. So I like it. Good for peat drinkers. People who don't like a lot of peat, it's kind of on the fence whether you're going to like this or not, but there is a lot of complexity and a lot of subtle things going on in here compared to some other scotches that you might have had. So Kind of drip stuff a little bit on my hand here. So, again, that's what you're looking at. I do believe I taste a little bit of the Guinness influence. Again, that could be just my brain playing tricks on me, but I am tasting a little bit of stout on the edges and somewhere buried in the layers of this flavor. So that's what I got for you. Remember the price point. Remember what I said. Till next time. Cheers.